Can you hear this bird chirping? Bike commuters hear that every single morning because you notice so many things when you're on the bike that you cannot notice when you're in the car riding to work. It's really the right way to start the day. You see the sunrise, you just feel your surroundings, and you get connection with the city, with the neighborhood. Hi, birdie. You're wondering, how fast can cyclists go when commuting? And I'm here to answer that question, but let me start this with a little story. Before I started bike commuting, I got onto a bike and I thought I was doing preparation. And I got on the bike, I rode it for like 3 minutes, and I was able to reach 25 miles an hour. And I drew my conclusion that my 10-mile bike commute would take me less than half an hour because I was able to go at 25 miles an hour. I said maybe my average speed is going to be somewhere around 23 or 22 at the worst. But boy, was I wrong. When I got on my bike the very first morning and rode it to work, the 10-mile commute actually turned out to be 11 and a half miles, and it was an hour and 5 minutes the very first morning. And I was so devastated, I was so disappointed, and I almost quit after the very first day. But so how fast can cyclists go when commuting? Realistically speaking, your average speed is going to be somewhere between 10 and 16 miles, depending on a few factors. And of course, you can get faster in your commute, and I'm going to make a video about that, how to be faster when you're commuting. You have to take a few factors into account, and you need to know that your fastest speed is not going to be your average speed, and not even close. So the factors that come into play are, of course, your fitness level. How fit are you? How fast can you ride your bike? Not only fitness level in terms of how fast, but also endurance. For how long can you keep that pace? Can you keep it for a minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour? You need to know how fit you are. If you are not very fit, you're going to be on the lower end. What's your distance? Of course, that's related to your fitness level. On a short commute, your average speed can be much higher than on a long commute. So anything 3, 4, 5 miles is going to take much longer than 10, 20 miles. At 20 miles or even 10 miles, you have to pace yourself. You can't just go at full speed and give it your all. Another factor is the terrain. That's very important, because if you have a very flat commute, it's relatively easy and you can maintain a higher speed, at a constant higher speed. As soon as you hit a slope, it is going to slow you down. Even if it's a very slight slope, you're going to drop speed. And on steep slopes, oh boy, I have a slope here very close to where I live. It's 10% gradient, and I'm only able to average on that piece, which is only like half a mile, I'm able to average 4 miles an hour or 5 miles an hour, very slow. Next up is traffic. Do you have to weave through traffic? Are there lots of cars? Are there lots of pedestrians? Do you have to share the road with pedestrians? Are there a lot of traffic lights? Those affect your average speed very much. Consider if you ride your bike for a minute at 20 miles an hour, then you arrive at a traffic light and you stand there for another minute, then you drop your average speed from 20 miles an hour to 10 miles an hour. So in the city, the more you ride in the city, the lower your average speed is going to be. Your bike. The bike matters because Some bikes are built to be fast, other bikes are built to be comfortable. So you have to strike the right balance when you choose your bike between comfort and speed. And of course, the longer your ride, the longer your commute, the more important it is to select the right kind of bike for your commute. This is why hybrids and fitness bikes are so popular, because they're relatively comfortable and they're relatively fast. Road bikes are, especially aggressive road bikes, are not so comfortable, but in return they are very fast. And some comfort bikes, city bikes, they're really comfortable because you sit in an upright position, but in return they're not very fast. They're usually heavy and they're not very good for efficiency. Then another thing that you need to keep in mind is what is it that you're going to carry and how are you going to carry it. If you have a very heavy backpack or very heavy panniers, then that's going to affect your speed, not so much on the flat, but uphill and on the rough roads. That is going to affect your speed. It's going to bring it down. If all these factors align properly for you and you get lucky, you could be averaging 16 miles an hour and maybe even more. But if you have a slower bike, long commute, you're not very fit, you have a lot of things to carry, and you've got hills, you could be averaging even lower than 10 miles an hour. So I hope that answers your question, and just think about it, especially before you get into your first commute. Like, how long is it going to take you? Take those things into consideration. And the best thing you can do is always to do a test ride when it doesn't matter. Just get on your bike on a Saturday or a Sunday, ride it to work, get back, and you get a very good understanding of how long it's going to take you and what your average speed is going to be. Well, I hope you found that information useful, and if you did, why not hit the like button and subscribe? And then I see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Bike Commuter Hero here.